Class is in session. Welcome, guys. Pull up a chair. Quiet in the back. Couple minutes late. Oh, man. What a weekend. Holy crap. With these Epstein files finally released, I've been trying to conglomerate as many links and posts and things that I can. I'll show you the Substack that I put out. By the way, that Substack is listed down in the description if you want it as a reference or to share it around. I'll show you it here in a minute, but so many names people are finding in these Epstein files. And mind you, a lot of these names, benign instances, nothing burgers. You know, there's a name there. They didn't know who they were dealing with, or somehow their name got caught up in the emails and whatever, right? But there's definitely a lot of weird stuff. And a lot of these names being found, whether benign or weird, just all across the board, like entertainment industry, tech industry, sports. You got NFL quarterbacks and team owners. You've got health and fitness influencers, celebrity doctors. It's like so much. It's wild. And it's going to continuously take us probably weeks to keep sifting through, checking keywords, seeing each instance where these keywords are found, these names, these different different topics. So yeah, wild, man. Pretty wild. And then in the stream tonight, we'll also address just some of the narratives out there that I've seen on social media, from the Doomerism to, I don't know, the conclusions people would jump to. Like, one of them is people acting like they have a crystal freaking ball and they know the future. Nothing will ever happen. No arrests are going to happen. No investigations are going on. Like, how the hell do you know? You don't know shit. Why are you jumping to conclusions about that kind of stuff? I don't know, but I can theorize, although I'm not going to put out as fact some shit I don't know, although I will be confident in saying, well, it's more than likely there's like ongoing investigations, so that's why you're not getting everything you want right now, and blah, blah, blah. Well, we'll talk about some of those theories, address some of the Doomerism narratives going on out there. But it's like 3.5 million files drop, what a lot of people were waiting for months and years and screaming for. And then these come out, and they're just not happy. No matter what comes out, some people just won't be freaking happy. And they just want to whine and bitch about something. And they do it on the internet because they don't have anybody to bitch to in their lives. And then when they bitch on the internet, the other people bitching on the internet will magnetically attract to them. And it just becomes like a circle jerk of emotional support for each other. And it just continues. So anyway, I guess I'm bitching about the bitchers, right? What irony. What hypocrisy from me. I am sorry. Okay, let me address some of these chat comments, and then we'll get into... We're going to start off with Tulsi, just real quick, and some 2020 election fraud happenings. Then we'll get into the bulk of the show on the Epstein stuff. Are you getting Epstein fatigue? I'm not. I'm just wondering if you are. I've said the word Epstein and have written it so many times over the last 48 hours that, oh God. But, yeah, we'll bulk of the show on Epstein, then we'll finish up with some other news towards the end. Some things on ICE, some things on, I guess, biolabs being found in Vegas, and other news bouncing around. So, anyway. Bitch all I want. Thank you. Before you to see. That's why I do these streams, man. It's just cathartic for me. I'll bitch to you, and I hope it's helpful. Lots of shills on Twitter still. Yeah, indeed. All the platforms. Twitter, what I'm noticing, because I've been scrolling Instagram a lot more, just getting a feel for the comparisons, contrasting different platforms. Twitter seems to be the hotbed of the paid shills, and Instagram is the hotbed of the useful idiots. Although I'm seeing more seeing a lot of bitching on Instagram, a lot more complaining, but it seems to come from the useful idiots. And a lot of this, whether it is paid shills, the knowing deceivers, or just the useful idiots, but I think all of them are under the umbrella of people who either just woke up since COVID or just started their account within the last 2 years. And because they just woke up only over the last few years, they don't have that background, especially the background of conspiracy research pre-2020. So they're still noobs. They're still neophytes, more or less, to a lot of this stuff. And they don't realize that. So they're very confident in their ignorant thinking and beliefs. So, yeah. Have I thought about doing lives on Instagram as well? Not really. You just don't get much of an audience there. And you pretty much have to do it from a phone. So, no. Plus timing. Might have to, I don't know if I have enough time for that. Whatever happened to all those indictments years ago? Well, I think we've seen a lot of them unsealed. Granted, a lot of those indictments were probably for street-level crimes. And you could have a variety of sealed records. Sealed records is a better way to describe it than indictments. But a lot of those sealed records were probably for street-level stuff. Some of them probably already came out. You know, some of these sealed records you're probably seeing come out here in these Epstein file releases, but probably for a variety of, like a whole host of different things and issues. And a lot of them are probably still sealed. That maybe over the next couple of years we will see undone. Yeah, I wouldn't call them sealed indictments. I'd call them sealed records. Because indictment kind of leads people to believe that it's like a 1-to-1. Like 500,000 sealed indictments means we're getting 500,000 arrests? No. You could have, a few thousand sealed records for, say, one person or a business or a small network. So remember the press conference where they said they couldn't go after Epstein because he was CIA or an intelligence agent? Well, Epstein was arrested. And that seems to be something a lot of these doomers out there and black pillars are forgetting. They're saying no arrests, no investigations have ever taken place. Like, back to my point of people jumping to conclusions and not thinking. Epstein was arrested, bro. Like, oh, the Trump administration is covering it all up. You do realize if Trump was never elected in 2016 and if Hillary won, you probably wouldn't even know Epstein's name right now, dude. Trump getting elected in 2016, installing Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Jeff Sessions was the one that oversaw the Epstein investigation that started in 2017, that led to his arrest in 2019, then Ghislaine's arrest, then Jean-Luc Brunel's arrest. And you could say, we haven't seen any other arrests. Well, a couple of things to point to there. Number one, Epstein was arrested, towards the middle end of 2019? Was it August or something? July, August? Trump has really only been president for a little over 2 years. Like, in office, since Epstein was arrested. Which is not really that long when you're doing investigations of this grandeur. So keep that in your thinking cap. Really, Trump hasn't been president for all that long. And then you have to factor in COVID, which stifled probably a lot of those investigations for however many months. So you could effectively take, that time frame off the board. So, yeah, Trump hasn't been president all that long since Epstein was arrested. And then you have all the speed bumps to factor in during that. So I'd bet money on ongoing investigations happening, which would explain why we're not getting all the files that people are clamoring for. And that would also explain why Trump's just kind of like, all right, let's not talk about this. Nothing to see. Let's move on. Right? So, and then one more point, and we'll start getting into it. But something I've been ruminating on recently is that, just thinking of the strategy here, would it not be far more strategic to use the Epstein blackmail? I saw somebody call it white mail like a week or two ago, where, Epstein had all this blackmail on celebrities and politicians. Then Trump admin comes in, arrests him, gets all that blackmail, and starts using that blackmail back against the deep state for a different agenda, by the good guys. So the good guys are now blackmailing him. Call it white mail. I laughed when I saw that description. But would it not be far more advantageous for them to keep some of these people in their positions and then, quote unquote, white mail them instead of arrest them? Yeah, I know. We all want the arrests. We all want the vindication, right? That's the thing. A lot of these influencers on the internet, I don't think they actually want justice. I think they want validation. They just want to be able to say, I told you so, and gloat. They don't want actual justice. Otherwise, they would calm the fuck down. But anyway, so say, for example, Bill Gates. Bill Gates has been changing his tune quite a bit over the last 6 months on a few issues. And would it not be more advantageous to just, blackmail or whitemail Bill Gates, keep him in that position, but then leverage him? Rather than say, if you arrested him or arrested some of these folks, took that piece off the board, what would then happen? Their estate, their money, their resources would just go to their kid that takes over the estate, takes over their accounts, or it would go to their lawyers or their accountants, whoever they have as executors on their estate. And then their resources would just continue to get used for the dark agendas. So why not leverage that deep state individual and then force them to use their resources for better things? Because if we're thinking long game, we've got to save the country for future generations. It's probably a hell of a lot more strategic to keep those deep state players on the board, the ones that can be leveraged and used, instead of take them off the board and then they'll just get replaced by a deep stater that you can't leverage. So that's something many of these bitchers and moaners on social media aren't thinking about. I don't think they're thinking about that. And they probably don't want to think about that because their whole motive on social media is just to bitch and moan. So, cool. Thank you for listening to my bitching and moaning. People acting like it's a TV show. Well, in some regard, you maybe could say that we're seeing a show. But, yeah, this is not for our entertainment. Or it is not for our validation either. And that's unfortunately what I think a lot of people on social media want. They just want a celebrity arrested. I want a celebrity arrested so I can gloat to my family that's been calling me crazy for 10 years. No, I mean, dude, 60,000 kids were saved in 2025 that were smuggled into the country by DHS, Department of Homeland Security. 60,000. That's not a win to you? And who is more of a threat? Is that deep stater that you're leveraging more of a threat when the whole public's eyes, all the world's eyes are on him? Let's use Bill Gates as an example again. Is Bill Gates more of a threat to children right now when the whole country's eyes are on him? Or is that illegal immigrant in the white van outside of the middle school that nobody sees, that nobody realizes is there, or is he more of a threat, right? So, you're not happy about the 60,000 children saved in this country last year? Oh, you just want the celebrity name arrested. Shut the fuck up. All right. That's enough of that. Good comment here, Cyberspeed. They care more about arrests than children. Again, I don't even think they really care about arrests. Arrests is just their excuse to say I told you so and feel good about themselves, and then brag to their followers and say, "Oh, look at me! Look at all the posts I made. I'm right. I'm amazing." So, Okay. Quick word from the sponsor of today's show, and that is My Digital Money. With the way inflation and currency devaluation are going, smart investors are turning to alternative assets, not as a gamble, but as a global hedge. And when it comes to cryptocurrency, past few months, going down. But down means what we call DCA, dollar cost average. Buy a bit at a time or find a good time to put a good amount of money in. Same thing with gold and silver. Now, silver's been silver hit its peak and now it's pulling back. So might be a good time coming up to invest into the Bitcoin or the gold or the silver, and My Digital Money can help you do that. They have crypto IRAs, and they can help you roll over existing 401ks to enjoy tax benefits, and they will help you invest into the alternative assets. They have fractional metals. They'll help you with secure offline storage so you can keep your crypto in your hands, not keep it on a sketchy exchange. And they have trading they can help you with as well, with indicators and buy-sell signals. So go check them out. Link down below. JordanSatherCrypto.com is the URL. Enter your deets in for a free crypto investment guide. JordanSatherCrypto.com or MyDigitalMoney.com. Again, links below. All right. Starting off with Tulsi. So Tulsi's been kicking some ass and taking ass and kicking names. And she's been doing that on a variety of issues. One being Russiagate, the other being the 2020 election. Late last week, she declassified some more reports on Obama being deep in the Russiagate scandal, and she was also seen out front of the Fulton County, Georgia election offices too, when the FBI came in there and raided the Georgia Fulton County election offices. So Tulsi's been kicking ass, which 100% explains why the Wall Street Journal here put out this garbage trash hit piece. Classified whistleblower complaint about Tulsi Gabbard stalls within her agency. A U.S. intelligence official has alleged wrongdoing by Tulsi Gabbard in a whistleblower complaint that is so highly classified, it has sparked months of wrangling over how to share it with Congress, according to U.S. officials and others familiar with the matter. Freaking, this is what you give reports that when you see that, you give it the middle finger. That's not a penis. That's a middle finger. Anonymous sources, right? So I uploaded this video on YouTube yesterday. 2020 election fraud, Epstein files, and Russiagate. And I describe exactly how Tulsi is kicking ass. And we got these 3 movies playing out all at the same time. Lo and behold, 2020 election fraud, Russiagate, and Epstein files. Tulsi is instrumental in at least 2 of these. Maybe that one too. We just don't know. But that's exactly why they're coming out and attacking her. And a couple other things on the election fraud. Dan Bongino back to podcasting today. Dan Bongino, man. Gosh. A lot of those black pillars really hate him. I actually kind of like Dan Bongino. He's funny to me. I don't listen to much of his stuff or watch much of his stuff. I don't really listen to news podcasts. I prefer to read for my news because I can read a lot faster than a podcaster goes blah, blah, blah. So that's why I try to talk fast and not waste your time. But Dan Bongino cracks me up with his jokes and with his attitude. He just gives no shits. And he gets a lot of attacks. And it makes me wonder, wow, Dan Bongino is getting attacked very heavily by people who claim to be truth-seeking freedom advocates. So it leads me to believe that Bongino is getting attacked by a lot of shills and that he is actually doing good work. So I will not follow the crowd like normal, and I will not do the current thing like a lot of so-called truth influencers. They're like the current thing people these days. 100% true. 5 years ago, the current thing people were the liberals, and now the current thing people are the, like America first, I'm a truth seeker, I'm for freedom people on social media. But, yeah, I don't know. I kind of dig Dan Bongino. He's cool. So, Trump was on a show today, which also is a piece of signal right there. If Trump is deciding to go on Dan Bongino's show, well, wonder why. Maybe Bongino ain't so bad. And Trump was talking about 2020 election fraud. I'm going to play this clip. Here is what Trump said.
Sort of nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win. Now you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get, with a court order, the ballots. You're going to see some interesting things come out. But, like the 2020 election, I won that election by so much. Everybody does it. They put a woman in jail, Colorado, put a woman in jail, a wonderful woman, 72 years old, had cancer, because she was a voting inspector. She was in charge of a voting area, and she saw boxes of votes come in. So she went over to check it, and they put her in jail for voter manipulation, and she's still in jail. And they better let her out fast. And they're suffering a big price, Colorado. They have this woman in jail who's 71 years old and probably has cancer. She's sick. And they put her in because
talking about Tina Peters.
Challenged somebody that was dumping ballots into a box, okay? And they didn't put them in jail. This was during Biden's term. The worst president in history. And we had some bad ones. I mean, look, Barack Hussein Obama, I call him the Great Divider.
So, Trump said that something's about to come out about the 2020 election fraud in Fulton County, Georgia. He wants Republicans to nationalize the elections. Fraud's that bad. Nationalize the voting. No. Why the hell was it not nationalized in the first place? Why do we have private companies running our elections? It never should have been a thing. Never. Private companies with a special interest to make money because they are companies. Unfortunately, I'm all for capitalism, but let's be honest, we don't live in much of an ethical capitalistic society. Ethical, moral capitalism. And nature of humans, nature of everything having to be based on freaking money. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in. But they have a vested interest to make money, and then that gets really fucking shady. Yeah, nationalize the voting. Another clip from Bongino's podcast. He's talking about, maybe I can't say things because of...
You don't know shit.
I didn't know that was going to be the first thing that he said. I need that on a button. I need that. I'm putting that on my soundboard tonight.
You don't know shit.
I like Bongino, man. He cracks me up.
You don't know anything. Just be honest that you don't know. You can have an opinion on it. I'm not telling you media people. I'm not telling you media people not to have an opinion. Have an opinion, great. It's a constitutional republic. But just be honest that you don't know shit. And he does. He's read in on all this stuff. So you're going to be misunderstood because there are things even now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to talk about. There are ongoing cases and other things.
What did you just say?
There are ongoing cases and other things.
Wow. Oh my gosh. The idea that I've been floating for months and months. Ongoing investigations. Look, if it gets to December 2028 and we haven't seen shit, then I will start to complain. And I will, I don't know, throw my MAGA hat in the trash or something. But I will wait. I will be patient. I have other things to do in my life other than complain on the internet, like, I don't know, go touch grass and wipe my ass. But if it gets to the end of 2028 and we have not seen amazing things happen, arrests and all that jazz, then yeah. But I'll give it some time. So, ongoing investigations. And again, the leveraging, right? For some of these people, you probably have military intelligence handling these matters because they're of national security. So some of these investigations might not even be being ran out of the FBI or the DOJ. You might have the military running some of these things, intelligence world, and they could be leveraging these people. So it's not necessarily an investigation. It's another matter, if that's the case. Now, to my Substack article, running list of highlights in the new Epstein files from January 2026. I've been working on this today, and I'm going to work on it throughout the week. So probably have about 60 links on here so far, 60 to 70. These are all of the notable files that I've seen reported on either in social media. Most of these are Twitter links. Some of them are mainstream media articles. But all of the relevant files with notable stories or things said, highlights. So this is linked down below. I'm going to take this link and drop in the chat right now as well. For those of you that are live here. Yes, touch grass, wipe ass. When the internet is getting retarded, just go touch grass, wipe ass. It's a good one. I should put that on a shirt. Now, yes, I'm going to update this throughout the week. So my goal is to get 100 links on there tomorrow. I'm not putting every single little thing I find. I'm just putting the notable ones. And also, another point is that AI, I've seen a couple. I know there was that fabricated like Elon post. I think I've seen a couple fabricated posts about Trump trying to rope him into some narrative surrounding Epstein. But AI and also people taking things out of context too. That's happening a few times. And then stories start going viral because people are taking a few of these emails or files out of context. So I'm trying my best not to put any of that in there. Just like what the allegations are or the story is. So anyway, I'm going to update this. Yeah, try to get 100 links on here tomorrow. Maybe by the end of the week, we'll see what people figure out and find from these files. Maybe I'll have 200 on here, but just keep it bookmarked, share it around. I figured it would be good to create some kind of master list. And I didn't want to link the tweet because then this article would have been like 5 miles long and you would have had to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, which maybe I should have done that because everything would have been visual on the article. But I just decided to put text and a hyperlink of everything. So anyway, we'll cover this a bit here tonight, but I want to get through some other stories and then we can talk about maybe some of what's in the files. So I will keep... oh, shoot. That's the screen I wanted. No, that's the screen I wanted. There we go. I'll keep that up. And let's go into some of the other matters. So Trump was asked about Epstein today. I'll just play this and then we can discuss.
We have other things to do because that whole thing has turned out. I mean, other than Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and lots of people that there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were conspiring against Donald Trump to lose the election. So Epstein was conspiring with a writer for me to lose the election. So right there, that I had nothing to do with this guy. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. The amount of time that's being wasted. When Epstein was alive, like 10 years ago, nobody cared about it. But they're only doing it. But now it's really hitting back on them because Bill Clinton is such a big part of it. The Democrats are pushing it. And the problem is that it's turning out to be the Democrats that were with and conspired with Epstein. So I think you're probably going to see a little pullback from them. But think of it.
He's kind of he's essentially all but confirming that he baited him. He baited him hard. Played him like a fiddle with the reverse psychology, right? For months, Epstein's a hoax, nothing to see here, which caused a bunch of Democrats and people caught up in that to go, then release the files. You're in it. Release them. So then they got released, and now they're just, oh shit. That's not what we were expecting. Pretty funny. And then, let's see. But you also have these kinds of narratives, right? Like this.
And no, he made a statement about me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, if you look at the DOJ, they announced, they released 3 million pages. It's like this is all they're supposed to be doing. And frankly, the DOJ, I think, should just say, we have other things to do, because that whole thing has turned out, other than Bill Clinton and, Bill Gates and lots of people there are a lot of questions about it, but nothing on me. But it was even sort of better than that, because they found that Jeffrey Epstein and this sleazebag writer named Michael Wolff were
the cognitive dissonance that Trump is putting out there in people's minds. It's wild. It's like, nothing to see here. It's a hoax. Let's move on. While at the same time, look at all these Democrats involved in this shit, right? He's a New Yorker. He's a Gemini. It's what you got to expect from him. He's got a way with words, and he'll kind of speak from different angles. But back to my point of who's the bigger threat here, right? I'm not saying the DOJ should move on from the Epstein network by any means, but they do have some other things to do with immigration, with all kinds of other issues, drug trafficking, street level stuff too. So, yes. But the more Trump says these kinds of things, again, the more people will call for justice, which is great. It's good. You kind of want them to do that. So, hey, it gets people riled up. Then Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says no more arrests of the Epstein network. I haven't actually watched this video yet, but I do have some thoughts on it.
You said this is the end of the Epstein, of your review of the Epstein files. So just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls with the information that you're releasing? And if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
You just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
Well, they're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's,
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women. If we learn about information and evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But I don't think that the public or you all are going to uncover men within the Epstein files that abuse women, unfortunately.
So he didn't say no more arrests. That was but you really have to parse his words. If that would possibly lend credence to the theory that he specifically said DOJ. So if some of these investigations or if some of these matters are being dealt with by say, the military, other agencies, other groups, then it wouldn't be a Department of Justice matter. You know? And this could be some kind of psychological narrative he's putting out there, because now we have Bill and Hillary Clinton agreeing to testify in the House Epstein investigation. One thing this does, by saying, oh, we're just going to move on. The DOJ has other things to do. We're not going to worry about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. If the Department of Justice had anything, we would do something, but By the Trump administration doing that, Trump and folks around him, it makes them let their guard down. So, shoot, that could be one of their goals. Get some of these people to let their guard down. Now I guess Bill and Hillary Clinton are coming out and talking to House Epstein investigation. This comes 2 days prior to a vote in the House to hold them all in criminal contempt for ignoring the subpoena. Yeah, make it public for sure. No closed-door hearings. We'll see when that happens. Other things, and then we'll get to that, looking at some of the notables in that Substack article. Nicki Minaj out here, just going to town, man. Holy crap. 20 million views on this tweet. 250,000 likes. She's got 26 million followers on Twitter, mind you. Straight up going to town on Jay-Z and Beyonce. Are y'all understanding that these people have been sacrificing children? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless as they are and will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story times. Since I was trying to not say what I know, yet they continue to attempt bullying. Wild. Here's another one. Your favorite artist has been practicing rituals in a satanic cult where they take babies from other countries and kill them as a form of blood sacrifice to their god. You see, when your master is Satan, you must constantly shed blood. However, the jig is up. That is like one of the biggest artists in the hip-hop industry right there. Going full MAGA. Full Trump fan. I mean, just look at her. Look at her Twitter timeline. She's going to town on Jay-Z. Holy shit. Calling Jay-Z a child predator. 50 Cent and Nicki Minaj are going to save the rap industry. It's going to be great when Jay-Z gets wrecked. Man, I got respect for her now. Crazy. Speaking of Hollywood industry, I didn't even know the Grammys were last night until I started seeing videos about them. And all the clown celebrities. Ice bad. Iceman bad. Like this chick, Billie Eilish. She just looks possessed, doesn't she? Are those contacts? Are those her real eyes? No one is illegal on stolen land. Bitch, you live in a $14 million house in LA. You gonna let him in? Stolen land. You know how much the Native Americans were stealing the land from each other? How many territory disputes did the indigenous people have before the white man ever came here? Throughout all of human history, there's been territory disputes, okay? By erecting these national boundaries, creating these nations, we worked to sort of settle these territorial disputes that always ended up in bloodshed and war. Because we are civilized people. Yeah, I don't even like getting into the whole conquered thing, because that's just, That's kind of a low vibrational mindset, right? It's just the idea that there's always been territorial disputes, especially between indigenous people. They were fighting each other too. The white man fights the white man, black man fights the black man. Just get the hell out of here with your whole stolen land nonsense. It is sad. Some of those things that the white man did to the Native Americans, sure. I'm not going to argue that, but you know, it could have gone over a lot more smoothly from both sides. What else do we got? Sort of skipped a few things here. Got to go back. Yeah, okay, let's get into... Actually, let me touch on the comments for a minute. Take a drink. We'll get into this Substack article. Let's take a look at some of these highlights. Cool. You can't steal land from people with no concept of property. I mean... A lot of people with land are doing a fucking terrible job of being stewards of it, though. Native American history fascinates me. The Hopi, even that tribe that was on Jekyll Island. Yeah, I've talked to a Zuni tribe elder before. He was a fascinating guy. Really, the Native Americans are really spiritual people with really great stories and traditions. And, you know, honestly, it is kind of sad how the conservative side of the spectrum just forgets about it. Doesn't really respect it all that much. But then the liberal side of the spectrum just virtue signals. Like, that's almost more disgusting. Virtue signaling over the Native Americans. And they don't know jack shit about them. They don't really care about them. They just want to freaking be self-righteous and use Native Americans in their wokeism. So, but yeah. Hey, did I figure out how Rumble Studio works? Is it better than StreamYard? It's pretty similar. I use OBS. I don't really use StreamYard. So I run OBS into Rumble Studio. And I was using a service called Restream to send my stream out to YouTube, Rumble, and Pilled all at the same time. But Restream costs like $500 a year. Like $45 a month. And Rumble Studio is free. So in that regard, absolutely. I canceled Restream and just went into Rumble Studio, which was nice. You live in Montana? Yeah, Flathead Valley. That reservation there. They've lost their culture. The elders still have it. It is really sad, honestly, that a lot of that culture just gets forgotten. Because those stories that R.I.P. Clifford Mahooty. Got to talk to him a few times, but he was a Zuni tribe. Passed away a few years ago, but he had some amazing things to share. Quite fascinating. But all right. Substack article. So, I don't know, you guys just want me to read these? I don't know if I want to click on every single one, but the allegations of George Bush Sr. raping men. You had the Bill Gates STDs story. Epstein saying Bill Gates got STDs from Russian hookers. Then Bill Gates supposedly asked Epstein for antibiotics that Bill could then secretly give to Melinda Gates. Jeffrey Epstein banned from Xbox Live in 2013 for harassment. That's funny. I've been thinking about that one all weekend. Like, what the hell were you doing, Jeffrey? He's like trying to get a hold of Bill. Bill, you're not answering my calls. Calling him over Xbox Live. Bill, I got your antibiotics. Bill Gates says, stop calling me. Bans him from Xbox Live. Some shit like that. Pizza was mentioned in the records over 900 times, a few of those in suspicious circumstances, for sure. I've seen also shrimp. There's a very weird tweet down here of shrimp. By the way, I don't have any of these organized. Maybe I'll do that later in the week, kind of organize them by topic, but I just write them and link them as I find them. But there was another post about shrimp and ice cream in really weird... Hold on. Maybe I need to... yeah, I just had to refresh this. There we go. Here's this odd one about shrimp. I like shrimp, but not so much if it's too pink, although I'm definitely more into the white than any other color. I can't even think of the smell of black shrimp. That's some weird-ass context. So yeah, not just pizza, but shrimp and ice cream. There's some weird food code words in these emails. Of course, Epstein said Trump never got a massage. How about this one? The former U.S. ambassador to Mexico allegedly impregnated an 11-year-old girl. We don't know who was speaking to each other with this one, but the claim goes... Epstein was discussing Ukraine upheaval with Ariana Rothschild in 2014. That was right before the whole was that Burisma with I don't know the name of the Ukrainian official, but a lot of that corruption in 2014. Epstein being told he has permission to kill an unidentified man. You have the 4chan founder in the files. The 4chan founder Moot, which is interesting because remember, Q started posting to 4chan in October 2017. The first day Q mentioned Epstein was November 11th, 2017. And then the very next week, it was like 5 days later, Q's boards on 4chan got infiltrated. And that's when Q had to migrate from 4chan over to 8chan. So just a few days after Q mentioned Epstein on 4chan, their boards got infiltrated. They had to migrate over to 8chan. Wonder why? Wow, we have the 4chan founder named in the Epstein files. And that was Jeffrey Epstein emailing Boris Nikolic, which was Bill Gates's colleague. I can't remember what his relationship was with Bill Gates, but there's a photo out there of Epstein, Bill Gates, and Boris all together. Epstein, people pitching Epstein on how to normalize transgender agenda for children. Someone called the FBI human trafficking hotline with a very detailed story of where Epstein was bringing children to South State Bank in Richmond, Virginia. Now, this is one thing. In a lot of these reports, just because you have an FBI report on one of these submitted claims, I mean, you do have schizophrenics that call the FBI quite a bit. The schizophrenics will call the FBI, have a claim, and then the FBI follows up and writes a report on it. Just because the FBI follows up on a tip and writes a report doesn't mean in any way that that tip is legit or what's written in that report is legit. So that's another thing to think about when going through these new Epstein files is just because an FBI report says the thing doesn't mean the thing is in any way legit. But regardless, that's the story that's there. Good to follow up. Don't assume it's true. You got the video of Epstein chasing girls around the kitchen. This is a doozy. Epstein telling Peter Thiel that he represents the Rothschilds when trying to arrange meetings on his island. Huh. Questions for Thiel. He better have good answers. This one's funny too. An email between Ariana Rothschild and Jeffrey Epstein claims that when Hitler was destitute in Vienna, Hitler lived in a shelter that was funded by the Rothschilds and the Epsteins. This is going to be hard for the Groypers. It's going to be hard for some of those Groyper Nazis out there to swallow. They're going to get cognitive dissonance and call this one fake. But I could see that 100%. Both sides. New World Order controlled both sides of that war, more or less. So I don't know why it's tough for people to think that Hitler was a puppet. As much as the Allied powers being influenced and puppeted as well. So, sorry. I ain't no Israel lover, but I ain't no Hitler lover either. I don't get $7,000 per post. Sorry, guys. I wish I did. Be nice. I could upgrade my Casio to a nicer Casio. Former NBA Commissioner David Stern asking Epstein to get into a conference for free, saying that waiting in line is for the goyim. It's funny. Fucked up, but funny. TMZ founder Harvey Levin is named in the Epstein files. Big surprise. There's a lot. I don't want to go through this whole thing. I'm sorry, guys. Links below. Here's this one. In a 2018 email, Epstein states that Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was passed away after attempting to blackmail the Mossad for 400 million pounds, 400 milli euro dollars. A lot more, man. So yeah, throughout the week, I'm gonna do my best to go through all those and add to it. I'll add to it, whatever I find. And yeah, on that note, guys, if you appreciate the streams, the videos I've been doing, the Substack article, you can subscribe on Substack, which would be greatly appreciated. I take a lot of time to do this kind of work and a lot of mental energy. So you can subscribe there, throw me a few bucks a month through Substack, or you can go to my website as well, jordansather.com. And then up here, you can find ways to support. Of course, you can go to the supplements there. That just links right over to Conscious Strength. You can support through that. Grab yourself a product. Donate page there. So this is where I have Locals linked. You can subscribe on Locals, Patreon. I've got some crypto addresses, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal. Or you can just enter a card there on the donor box. So ways to support will be there if you'd like to donate to the work. All right. Let's get into some of the other stories here. Let me do that in a sec, though. Need some wah-wah. Attila Hun, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Check my spam. Just emailed me. Okay, I'll go check it. I mean, I'm not sure about that particular post being from a schizophrenic, but I'm just saying that sometimes weirdos call the FBI. So just because you see an FBI report on something doesn't make it true. But it'd be foolish to automatically think it's false. A good investigator does not do either and assesses claims for evidence at hand. Yeah. I appreciate you appreciating my work. I do see you share my stuff on Twitter. Devol. How do I say that? I can barely pronounce English words. How do I pronounce that? I'll call you D Total. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing my stuff on Twitter. What's my email? You can email me through my website. There's a contact box on there. Homepage. Go to the bottom. No. Not the bottom. The top. Where's contact? There it is. Contact. Bam. I'll check my email at night or in the morning. Probably early morning. All right, guys. Finishing up. Biolabs in Vegas. Here, I'll just drop the URL to the contact page in the chat. There you go. Biolabs in Vegas. A legal biolab just raided in Vegas that was operated by the same LLC and Chinese nationals as the one discovered in Reedley, California. Here's what we know about the Reedley lab from a highly disturbing report I requested by the Select Committee on the CCP. This is a tweet from Congressman in California. So I guess there was a couple years ago a biolab in frickin' California ran by China, run by an international figure. He was trying to steal American intellectual property and transfer it to China. The Supreme Court of British Columbia found that this guy, Jesse Zhu, running these biolabs, committed fraud on an epic scale, resulting in a $300 million judgment. He then fled to America, assumed the alias David He, and set up more companies, including the one behind the biolab. He was indicted in 2023. He's been in custody ever since, but his partner and other associates have not been. The Reedley lab was discovered in December 2022 when a code inspector came upon a suspicious warehouse. Inside, she found many Chinamen, basically wearing a bunch of Walter White suits, along with thousands of vials of biological stuff and 1,000 mice. They were GMOing mice to catch and carry COVID-19. Wonderful. Et cetera, et cetera. So that's all information about the California lab. This Las Vegas one was just raided, and maybe we'll be getting more info about that. But yeah, I imagine the FBI and DOJ also have other matters to focus on. So wild, man. I just want to go live out in the middle of butt freak nowhere, away from all the big cities, especially Minneapolis. But hey, looks like the Quality Leering Center is being cleared out. Bunch of U-Haul trucks cleaning out the center over the weekend. Their little Quality Leering sign is no longer up, emptying out the whole place. Call them Somalians. Cleaning it out. And how about this one? Former ATF senior executive says that a possible accidental discharge of Alex Preddy's Sig Sauer P320 could change the course of the federal investigation. So Alex Preddy, the nurse, hospital guy that was shot and killed, right? That everybody's protesting about. As soon as I saw the government Twitter accounts post the photo of his gun, and as soon as I saw it being a P320 that was not stock, that he modified as well, I instantly was like, oh God, I bet you that thing just went off on its own. I bet you it got dropped or it was in the holster when they were wrestling and some kind of pressure hit the slide. I bet that thing ND'd. And it sounds like it might have actually ND'd. So in fact, bro's gun probably shot because it's a freaking Sig Sauer P320. And then the cops thought he shot them purposefully, so they shot back. Oh my God. What if this actually, Sig Sauer stock will tank if that's the case. All right. ICE setting up freaking checkpoints in Minneapolis to check people's papers. Pretty insane. They even have traffic cones and everything. So there's that. Authorities in Arizona say Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, was abducted while she slept. She's 84 years old. You remember Savannah Guthrie is, she's a nasty woman, right? She's the nasty woman. Trump has interviewed with her before. She's a pile of shit in the mainstream media. But her mom apparently got kidnapped. Some people first thought that, oh, maybe she has dementia and walked out or something. But Pima County Sheriff in Arizona believes that she was abducted. And she did not walk from there. She went willingly. I really hope they don't, right? Blame this on a conspiracy theorist. Blame it on MAGA. George Zinn, remember him? He was the elderly man at Charlie Kirk's shooting that instantly got up and said it was him. Turned out to not to be him. Well, he's been arrested for child sex crimes. Remember George Zinn? For about 5 minutes, everybody thought it was him until we had another false suspect and then like a couple more. Yeah. Probably shouldn't have drew a bunch of attention to you, buddy. And that's about it. I was going to touch on this video. NASA Director Jared Isaacman says the U.S. is developing nuclear space propulsion. I'm really curious what the dynamics of this will be. Nuclear space propulsion. Is that just a secret fancy buzzword for them to roll out gravity control propulsion technologies? I hope so. If it's just like rockets, fancy rockets using nuclear fuel instead of jet fuel, that'd be gay. That'd be real gay. But if this is their code work to roll out gravity controlling propulsion, that'd be great. So, I don't know. We'll see. But rockets are stupid. We don't need them. And the Y-Files guy on Tucker. I'm going to watch this in the morning. Yo, is that I'm looking at his necklace. That looks like one of those art crystals from Nassim Haramein. I have one, but I don't think that's an art crystal. Anyway, I kind of like AJ. He's all right. His YouTube channel is a little bubblegum, I think. It's a little surface level, but I like that he gets into paranormal stuff and topics all across the board. He gets into the woo, and I respect that. But he keeps it kind of mainstream. Although, what did they talk about? Tucker discussed with him, why does the science community refuse to admit when they're wrong? What do we know about the pyramids and giants? Okay. How were the pyramids built? Physical evidence of a great flood. Oh, so maybe they start talking about the pole shift in here. Ancient civilizations and their advanced technology. Chambers under the pyramids. U.S. government's knowledge and use of advanced technology. Nice. I hope they talk a little bit about free energy and anti-gravity in that one. Remote viewing. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll be watching that one in the morning. I'm going to watch this, and I still have yet to watch Ben Davidson's new documentary. I need to watch those. So, how long is this interview with Tucker? Hour and a half. I think Ben Davidson's new. Here, let me turn the music on. We're kind of done with the tabs, so I'll bring the music in. Royalty free. My club tunes. And there we go. A little loud. Hold on. Suspicious. No, he calls his channel Sun Weatherman now, right? Sun Weather News. Kind of changed the name. Space Weather News. That's it. The Disaster Cycle. This one is hour 42. Dude, that looks good. That's a good looking film there. Oh, but then he goes into like screen recordings. Okay, so this is just so it's a ghetto documentary. But the ghetto documentaries usually have better information. When you have a documentary that's super produced like this, then you get more storytelling entertainment. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm speaking to you about this from a documentary producer standpoint. I've worked on a couple. I like films that look good. I do like videography, so I respect when I see that on social media. But I also understand that, you know, that requires time and funding to make documentaries all fancy, so he just goes straight into screen recording. Damn, this one gets into the weeds. He is showing a ton of science. Galactic current sheets. Earth pole shift. Gets into evidence of it happening cyclically, it looks like. Talking about the... Cool, man. Yeah, I'm watching that in the morning for sure. How many views? 62? It's about to be 62,001. Or is that not the film? No, I'm misunderstanding. It looks like this is a supplemental video that he recorded. Okay, it looks like these are clips from the actual movie, which is on this website. Am I getting this right? Ah, I see. Okay. So the actual movie is the sexy looking thing here. I see. Okay. That's the real movie. And then he does a supplemental video getting into all the science. That's cool, man. Now I have 2 things to watch, you asshole. Well, that's fun. Bro, I'm not gonna go check my email right now. I'm sorry. I'll check in the morning. That's when I usually check my emails. I'm not gonna check it on stream. If you sent me something juicy, we can talk about it tomorrow on stream. It's not like the world's gonna end if I don't go check my email right now. Can I Q-pill Ian Carroll for us? I don't know, man. It's up to him. Alright. Has to be the human's choice to take the red pill. If he ever wanted to have a conversation about it, I'd love to. And I mean, I don't have any way to contact him, but I know people that know him. I know somebody that has his number, so I could try, but I don't really have a big desire to, unless he wants to. It's up to him, but I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to force it. Why didn't you make an account on another platform after the YouTube bans? Why didn't you know that I did? Do you see me streaming to Rumble right there? Where have you been at, Jimbo? Jimbo! Where you been, Jimbo? I went over to Rumble, man. Been on Rumble for like 5 years. As soon as I got banned on YouTube 5 years ago, I went to Rumble. Then I got YouTube back. Now I'm on Rumble and YouTube. Jimbo! What would I recommend from my supplements for the immune system? Probably oregano oil. There'd be a couple here. If you have like a sinus infection, I would go oregano oil. You know, freaking awesome antiviral, antibacterial. Few drops under your tongue every few hours. And oregano oil will wipe anything out. But it's not really an immune strengthener. It's just like a bug destroyer. As for immune strengthening, maybe the curcumin. Good anti-inflammatory, but it'll have some immune system effect. I'd say the greens. There's a lot of prebiotics and good fibers in these greens, so that'll help the flora in your gut. Oh, definitely vitamin C. Yeah, that would be my answer. Top answer there, vitamin C. Whole food from acerola cherry, amla berry, and hibiscus. That is an amazing vitamin C, 100% from food. So, those would be my answers. I wish I had like a medicinal mushroom extract, but I don't anymore. So. Hey, no reply 42069. Did you email me though? Email me what you're talking about. And yeah, I'll bring it up during tomorrow's stream. It sounds like you do have something good, but it's like my bedtime, bro. Any recommendation on an essential oil you can use to massage your pregnant wife to reduce nausea, help with soreness? Get her ginger candies. Ginger tends to help with, nausea and upset stomach and whatnot. As for like a massage oil, I don't know, maybe like a rosy something or other. I wouldn't go anything too harsh, of course, pregnant woman, so I don't know. Maybe like mix, but I would mix it with coconut oil to like do a pretty weak dilution. So like a rose, lavender, something like that, but check into the ginger. It's like little ginger chews. Could help with the nausea. What are my thoughts on the recircling news and emails sent about the 23andMe breach? I saw that 23andMe was mentioned in those Epstein files. In fact, did I put that one on my list? I don't think I did. Yeah, I'll go find that one and put it on my list. I never did 23andMe. Nuh-uh. Sorry, kids. You don't know where great-grandpa been, but I don't want Ann Watch Kiki to have my freaking genetics. Google. I think I found my great-grandpa came here from Norway. Great-grandpa and grandma. In like the 1880s or 90s or some shit, so fuck you and your stolen land. My ancestors didn't steal their land. My ancestors stole land probably, I don't know. The Norwegians were probably fighting the Swedes. My ancestors probably stole land from white people. If anything, I probably owe reparations to the Irish. I don't owe reparations to black people. Or Native Americans. I probably owe reparations to friggin' people from Ireland. Yeah, I think it was like the 1880s or 90s. My great-grandparents came over here. I never met them. And my grandparents died when I was kind of young. On that side of the family. Files are awesome. AJ's a great host, and Hecklefish is the shit. Yeah, Hecklefish is pretty funny. What a good bit. That is such a good bit. Very clever to have on a informative, educational show like that, because it gives a dynamic of sort of a separate co-host that interjects when explanations are needed or something like that, right? And bring some humor into the show. Hecklefish is such a clever addition to that kind of YouTube channel. I've had this idea before for my own podcasts and my own shows. When I was kind of thinking about Hecklefish many months ago, a couple years ago, I thought about getting a parrot, like a hand doll, a parrot. And that would be my sort of like retarded sidekick on my podcast, would have a parrot. And it could just parrot narratives, right? Be a parrot. I don't know what the name for it would be, but could figure it out. It'd be so stupid, but it'd probably be pretty funny sometimes. You've never installed Instagram or TikTok and life is good. I can't stand Instagram. I post my short videos over there, but I do not use TikTok. Sorry, did I say Instagram? I do not use TikTok to scroll. It's terrible. I just upload and I get off just close the app. I do like Instagram. I'm not going to lie. Instagram has gotten so much better after Mark Zuckerberg caved to Trump a year and a half ago. He bent the knee, and Instagram stopped censoring, and now it's actually pretty great. Like, I love it. I love Instagram. The comments are funny. Go to the comment sections and it's freaking hilarious. Some of the shit you'll find on there. But as soon as you interact with a few posts on a certain topic, then your whole algorithm is cooked. So that's the bad thing about Instagram, is that your algorithm can get skewed very easily. And then you'll just be scrolling, every single video is about one topic, and you're like, I don't want to see that, but you can't get out of it. Although there's some hilarious freaking people on Instagram, and a lot of dark humor, which is my preferred kind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about the 23andMe happenings. I'm sorry. I'm not all that familiar with that company. Cacao? Talking about cocoa or cacao? Flavonoid. It's fine. It's cool. I've got some like cacao superfood mix I put into my coffee sometimes. Tastes pretty good. Cool. No reply for 2069. I dig that screen name though, for sure. It looks like you got something juicy there. A way to find some new videos in the Epstein files. That's cool. Yeah, I'll check my email out tonight and see what you have to share. I appreciate you sending that over. And I appreciate your you being in the chat. Oh, you like dark humor. I never could have guessed with the screen name, Why Are You Naked? Do I think Stavati Aerospace is a real company? Yeah, it's a real company ran by probably delusional people. Seeing a lot of talk about kimchi. Don't really like it, but being diabetic, it's supposed to be really good with insulin absorption. You could try sauerkraut. Let's try to eat some fermented foods. Kimchi's all right, but yeah, it depends on the brand. Some of them have some like spice kick to them. You can try sauerkraut, just anything fermented. Sweet. All right, guys, I'm going to head out. Appreciate y'all being here. I will maybe see you guys tomorrow. Wednesday for sure. If not tomorrow. And I'll be on Badlands quite a bit this week as well. Maha Show Wednesday. Maha Show Friday. I'll be on General Steve Quast's show on Wednesday as well. So I've got a lot to do this week. Appreciate the gold pills, Cliffy. 2 Maha shows and then General Quast show on Badlands. And then I'll be updating that Substack article throughout the week. And whatever other kind of shit posts I get to, man. So, appreciate y'all. I should be back tomorrow. I don't think I have, well, I have a lot to do tomorrow, but I don't think I have any like big obligations that'll make me miss the stream. So, I'll probably see you here tomorrow. If not, then Wednesday. Cool. Take care, guys.